Jeffrey Hinton has resigned from Google. This is a big deal. You don't know who Jeffrey Hinton is. I get it. I just learned who he is too, but it really is a big deal, especially his parting words as he left Google. It had to do with, well, his wheelhouse, his baby, his brainchild, artificial intelligence. And what he had to say about the future of artificial intelligence is unnerving, to say the least. Joining us right now to discuss that and other tech issues that are way over my head because I don't know, I'm still figuring out my VCR, is Jake Denton. He's Research Associate for Tech Policy Center over at Heritage Foundation. I'm kidding. I don't have a VCR anymore, and I always knew how to program it. I'm not a Neanderthal, but I am still a little boggled by artificial intelligence, Jake. So I'm glad you're here to help me out.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So who is this guy? And when he said, basically, he warned as he was out the door at Google that these things are going to be smarter than humans. They're actually, I mean, there is a concern here about AI literally taking over aspects of our society.
Yeah, that's right. So he's, a lifelong academic and kind of considered one of the godfathers of AI. He joined Google after one of his companies was acquired for a large sum of money, and has been kind of leading their efforts internally. And his departure was largely due to the fact that he wanted to voice concern about the way that AI is being deployed into the general public, the market, without fear of affecting Google. And so he leaves Google, and now he's going to be another one of these loud critics, kind of going after these various firms that are pushing things out before they're really ready. And is kind of drawing attention to some of the potential side effects, some of the potential consequences, such as, widespread job replacement, deep fakes, kind of blurring the lines of what is real and what is fake. So he's another one of these loud voices that'll be a big help when it comes to kind of critiquing the deployment of AI.
So automation has always been a controversial subject, and usually it just has to do with replacing workers on an automobile assembly line because you can have a robot twist those bolts better, more efficiently, more consistently, and well, cheaper in the long run than a human being. Things like that, or maybe replacing the person at the McDonald's cash register because you can use the touchscreen yourself and the order's put in automatically. Artificial intelligence goes well beyond just automation, though. They're literally replacing human minds, right? They're thinking like a human would think, and they're creating things that only up until recently a human mind could create. Is it that accurate?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, ultimately, what we're seeing here is, the initial replacement of the original jobs with the rollout of computers at a magnificent scale. So you're going to see anywhere from legal assistants to research assistants across the spectrum of white collar jobs and blue collar jobs. So no one is safe from this. IBM announced just the other day that they estimate well over 7,000 jobs across their labor force to be automated away over the coming years. And so across the spectrum, you're going to see things disappear. And it's not limited to labor. It's also going to touch arts and culture. You're seeing things be, basically generated from these AI systems that kind of rival reality. It's very hard to discern what is real and what is fake. You've seen over Twitter the last few days a lot of debates over the authenticity of various videos being published by media outlets, and so we're just scratching the surface, and we're already seeing a very troubling trend of difficulty being able to discern what's real and what's fake.
Well, first of all, I'm pretty sure that David French's columns at the New York Times and everything he writes about Christianity is AI generated. It's all the same column, let's face it. However, I understand the Hollywood writer strike actually pulls in concerns over AI there. That I mean, if a Hollywood studio executive could just use artificial intelligence to write a script and not give them any, feedback and or lip, I'm sure that they would do it. They are getting that good. They could actually replace Hollywood writers. Although, to be
Yeah.
honest, that's kind of a low bar. It's like the David French bar. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what's important to understand about this, whether it be the writers' strike or these initial round of layoffs, is we're in the very early stages of this rollout, and this gets exponentially better every single day. This type of technology, and so being able to replace writers at this stage is a testament to where we're at. In the departure of Mr. Hinton leaving Google, he said that we initially thought this was 60 years away, and we've basically been found out that that's not true. That's not the case. We're having to deal with it right now in the real time. So, we're going to have a lot of very hard conversations over the coming months of what this is really going to look like, what our future should look like with this technology.
Yeah, and this is like Matrix stuff ultimately. When they're thinking for themselves and they're fixing themselves, they're repairing themselves, they're creating themselves, these monstrous computers we've created. So Jake, I mean, you're with the Tech Policy Center at Heritage Foundation. You guys are supposed to think about what policies should be and whether the best place to enact those policies is through government or just through human interaction, morals, ethics, that kind of thing. What should our policy be? Is there a role for government to regulate this sort of thing, or is it really just an ethical question amongst we humans that are still living and breathing?
Absolutely. There has to be a role for government in this type of technology because it will define our future. If you really think about it, it's either, the government steps in or we see this entire issue to the unelected elites in Silicon Valley who have demonstrated over the last several years that they really don't care about the American way of life. And so what we're doing now is kind of charting course, making the initial slate of recommendations to regulators and lawmakers on Capitol Hill. But this is the beginning stage. And one of the struggles with this issue is that the biggest concern might not even be known to us. It might not be known to us for the next 30 years, but we have to look 30 years in the future and bring it to the forefront of the conversation now because we only get one shot at this. Our regulatory framework, the foundation that this technology rolls out on, will define our future. And so, policy making is going to have to go through a bit of an evolution here. We don't have the jeopardy or the luxury of sitting on our hands and watching this unfold. We have to be proactive, which is something, as a country, we're very bad at.
There is certainly a benefit to artificial intelligence. It can do a lot of things for us and it can help us out. It's not all downside, is it?
No, I mean, if this is used correctly, it can spark innovation. It can bring about all sorts of societal advancements that we've kind of fallen behind on. And so ultimately, what this whole regulatory conversation is going to be about is how can we make this technology be in service of, the American people and really advance our way of life rather than, just turning into a tool for basically enslavement, right? We don't want this kind of sci-fi movie scenario. And so ultimately it's about making the best situation out of what is already going to be inevitable.
On the positive side, I mean, these especially high tech companies who are harnessing this stuff, ultimately, artificial intelligence is still limited to the human beings that originally write the code and sort of give it direction, right? And isn't that another problem? If it's creating things, it's reliant on the personality, perspectives, and opinions of the people who have actually written the code. So that could their agendas and biases could be baked into the cake for whatever these AI bots create. Do you understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's right. So this technology is an extension of the companies that create it. And so for the
Right.
time being, OpenAI is a great example. We all saw ChatGPT hit the market, and everyone saw the limitations it had when it came to commenting on conservative talking points. Right, it just wouldn't do it. And that's a very fun, whimsical issue. It doesn't have a lot of consequence in the time for right now. But long term, right, as this deploys, as it hits corporations, all of the kind of limitations and the generative responses will be a reflection of the coders. And
Yeah.
these people aren't strangers; they're the same suspects from all the other tech companies. So we know what's on the horizon here.
Jake Denton, Heritage, thanks for joining us. Great stuff. We'll keep an eye on it. It's a little freaky and scary. By the way, shame on all you people who think, oh, it's already taken over. I mean, just look at Biden. He's an artificial intelligence robot. That is not true. Come on. If they were going to do that, they'd make him look much more lifelike. More to come on O'Connor Tonight.